something is going to happen. And why wouldn't it happen? So tomorrow morning sometime, their time, we were expected to blow up their largest electric generating plant that cost over $10 billion to build. It's a very good one. There was no dearth of money. And one shot, it's gone. It collapses. Why would they want that? So they called. I didn't call. They called. They want to make a deal. And we are very willing to make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. And it's got to be no more wars, no more nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons anymore. They're agreeing to that. Any of that stuff, there's no deal.
And if they don't go well, sir, and you target...
You said you want to get the enriched uranium. How are you going to get the enriched uranium? Are you going to send
very easy. If we have a deal with them, we're going down and we'll take it ourselves.
Can I ask you, the Treasury lifted sanctions on Iranian oil that was out this week. You criticized President Obama for giving Iran $1.7 billion.
Well, I just want to have as much oil in the system as possible.
But Iran is making
and we don't even know if Iran gets that money. Frankly, I think it's very hard for them to get it. But you have ships that are out there that are loaded up with oil. Rather than keep it there, I would rather see it go to the system. Any small amount of money that Iran gets is not going to have any difference in this war. But I want to have the system be lubricated.
Even $14 billion, you don't think helps them?
Where's the $14 billion?
Because the inflated price, they get $14 billion from the...
I don't think they're getting the money. I can tell you, when this is all over, I will tell you who's getting the money.
Mr. President, if we do end up...
You bet that'll take some weeks to arrive. You think the police will trade?
What are you doing?
Well, it's been reported that their Marines have left California, left San Diego, left. Why are they headed there now?
Well, let me ask you this. If you were in my position, and I asked you that question, you really believe I should do it? It's a crazy question.
Sir, if we
don't talk about...
Sir...
Yeah, let in by Biden. It's devastating. These people were let in by Biden. We're getting them out. We're getting them out fast. That's why ICE is so important. They're doing such a good job. This animal, I saw the whole thing last night. They gave me a briefing. Came in through Joe Biden with his open door policy, and his borders are Kamala, who never saw the border. Never made one phone call. All the ICE people, you see, they all know me. Everyone knows me. They like me. I speak to them all the time. Didn't make one phone call during 4 years, who's the border czar, to anybody on the border. Never went there. This person came in through the open door policy of Joe Biden. And we're taking them out by the tens of thousands. We're doing a great job, but it's a shame. They've hurt our country. Just remember this. Joe Biden and that gang of radical left lunatics, some very smart, but radical left and bad ideology, sick people. These people have hurt our country very badly.
Sir, if we do end up hitting those Iranian power plants, how is that different from what Russia has been doing in Ukraine by hitting Ukrainian power plants?
Well, I think it's a lot different. And if you look at the nuclear weapons that they wanted to have, that they wanted to possess, a lot of things are different. I'm not a fan of what Russia's doing either, just so you understand, all right? But it's a lot different. You're talking about a country that has been evil for 47 years. They've been horrible. Death all over the world, not just us. Look at the way they attacked unexpectedly all of those countries surrounding them. It was not supposed to. Nobody was even thinking about it. But they wanted to take over the Middle East, and they wanted to knock out Israel permanently. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would have been able to.
So you wouldn't be concerned that the war crime?
Look, I'm not a fan of it. If you look at, and you never covered it, if you look at his troops or whatever he went on, if you look at his troops and his statement, he was all for everything. All of a sudden, he wasn't. He was a man that I met at Dover. He came and his wife was killed. He was remarried fairly quickly. His wife was killed, and I felt badly for him. He ran for Congress, he lost. He ran for Congress again, and he lost. I said, you know, he's a guy, nice guy, seemed like a very nice guy. I met him. He was pretty heartbroken, pretty. But I said, you know, it's a shame. He ran for Congress twice. Call him up, give him a job in the White House. Smart. They gave him a job in the White House, and this is what he does to me. You know, being a nice guy doesn't pay off too much.
Mr. President.
Think of it. He loses twice in Congress. Ran not very good campaign. Should have won. But he loses twice. How do I get him? I have my people call him, because I didn't deal with him for the most part. I saw him a couple of times, but I never dealt with him at all. I had no idea his ideology was left or right, whatever it is. I can say this. He said very strongly that Iran is not a threat. Iran's been a threat for 47 years, and there's not a country in the world that doesn't agree with me on that. So I take this guy, Joe Kent, who lost twice to Congress, pretty badly, and tough, and was devastated, and I know that he lost his wife. So instead of letting him live out his life, I brilliantly have my people call him and offer him a job in security, essentially, in the White House. Now, what does he do? He goes out and he says that Iran is not a threat to get publicity. Now, he probably signed up with CNN, or maybe signed up with your division of Newsmax. I don't know, but probably signed up with CNN or somebody. But if you look at his tweets, X's, or truth, whatever he uses, I don't know, because I don't follow him. What he said, 100% he agrees with it. All of a sudden he leaves. I never knew he had a problem. Now I hear they're looking at him for leaking. That's possible. But just so you understand, just to put it to rest, he lost twice badly. He also lost his wife. He's remarried since. He lost his wife. I felt badly for him. So I told my people, reach out to him, give him a job at the White House. This is the thanks I get. Any other questions?
Overall crime and
Iran
record,
was not an imminent threat. That's what the intelligence showed.
I think it was an imminent threat. I think that Iran, if we didn't bomb them with the B-2 bombers, now that set them back. But if we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks to a month. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it as soon as they got it.
If you obliterated their nuclear sites last summer with your strikes, then how can you argue it was an imminent threat now?
Oh, we hit them so hard, we obliterated them. But that doesn't mean with the right equipment, you can't dig down and go get it. We don't want that, and we won't have that. But we obliterated that site. They still haven't been able to get it. That was a complete success. But if it wasn't, they would have had, if we didn't hit them, if we didn't use the B-2 bombers, which are unbelievable, we just ordered 22 more of them, modern version, by the way, super modern version. If we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers, they would have had, within 2 weeks of that attack, that's why we hit them, because we knew they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have used it on Israel and the entire Middle East.
Mr. President, overall crime in Memphis is down 43% since you began the task force. Is this a template you think it's
Well, what I'm doing today, really, this was a little bit before, set up a couple of weeks ago. This was before we had this situation with Iran take place last night. And by the way, they're just not committed. When they say, I'm sure they don't mean that. When somebody says, oh, I didn't know you were talking. We were talking last night, and I'm sure they have a lack of communication, which is appropriate considering we blew up, in addition to their Navy, Air Force, every division, their radar. We also blew up all of their anti-aircraft and communication. So they have no telecommunication. So there is a lack of, I would imagine, a lack of coordination.
Reliable. If you're worried about the miscommunication,
well, we think all we can do is think, look, we have numerous leader groups. They've all been killed. Very dangerous position. Khomeini was killed. Khomeini's son is unavailable. Nobody knows what happened to him. I can say they haven't seen him there either. Something is going on with him, but regardless, I don't consider him really the leader. But they do have some leaders left, because we blew up group number 1, group number 2, a lot of group number 3. But we think we have people that are very representative of the country and will do a good job. Elon
Musk is offered to pay TSA workers during this. Do DHS shutdown? Is this something that you've been speaking to him about?
Yeah, I'd love it. I think it's great. Let him do that. And I want to thank ICE because they stepped in so strongly. They'll do great. And if that's not enough, I'll bring in the National Guard. We're not going to have the Democrats destroy our country. These people are the most destructive, sick people, the Democrats. They want, and they're fighting for this. They're fighting for men and women's sports. They're fighting for transgender for everybody. Everybody go out, get your kid a nice operation, and change the sex of your kid. They're fighting for, think of it. They don't want you to do voter ID. You walk into a booth. In California, if a person who's doing voting, an official, asks you for identification, they're subject to being arrested. What's wrong with this country? So we're fighting it hard. And I think they should, because the Democrats are being blamed for the shutdown, and it's their fault, and they're getting killed. That's why when I announced yesterday about ICE, the Democrats called. We want to settle. We want to settle. And I told the people, don't settle. Don't settle. Because we have something bigger. Only settle if you get the Save America Act, voter ID, and so important, proof of citizenship, etc. Thank you very much. We're dealing really...
Whose idea was it?
Mine. That was mine. That was like the paperclip. You know the story of the paperclip? 182 years ago, a man discovered the paperclip. It was so simple. And everybody that looked at it say, why didn't I think of that? ICE was my idea. First person I called was Tom Homan. I said, what do you think? He said, I think it's great. Then I saw today there was some masks on. I didn't think the masks were appropriate. I put out a statement and I asked them, would it be possible to take off the mask? Because they should wear a mask when they're dealing with the murderers and the thugs left and let it go.
You said there's many points of agreement with Iran right now.
Many.
What, can you give us a stuff
Many, like 15 points. 15
that
points.
Iran has said yes to?
Well, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. That's number one. That's number 1, 2, and 3. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
They've said yes to that?
They've agreed to that.
Will we see arrests, illegal migrant arrests at airports, sir?
Arrests?
Will we see ICE arresting illegal migrants at airports?
Yeah,
Are we talking?
that's why the Democrats are going crazy. Because they've allowed, by what they did, and hold up, we put ICE, who are a very high level, I mean, they really are a high level group of people. And they love it because they're able to now arrest illegals as they come into the country. That's very fertile territory. But that's not why they're there. They're really there to help.
Are we talking to Iran directly?
To no enrichment whatsoever, even for medical purposes, civilian purposes?
They have. Thank you.
And what about the Strait of Hormuz? Who's going to be in control of that?
That'll be opened very soon if this works.
How soon? And who's in control of it? Will Iran still be able to control the flow of oil?
Be jointly controlled.
By who?
Maybe me.
You want the United States to be in
Me
control?
and the Ayatollah, whoever the Ayatollah is, whoever the next Ayatollah. Look, and there'll also be a form of a very serious form of a regime change. Now, in all fairness, everybody's been killed from the regime. They're really starting off. There's automatically a regime change. But we're dealing with some people that I find to be very reasonable, very solid. The people within know who they are. They're very respected. And maybe one of them will be exactly what we're looking for. Look at Venezuela, how well that's working out.
The regime has agreed to
We are doing so well in Venezuela with oil and with the relationship between the president-elect and us. And maybe we find somebody like that.
Have you been any more options to lower the price of oil while it's not?
The price of oil will drop like a rock as soon as a deal is done. I guess it already is today. No, we have a very serious chance of making a deal. That doesn't guarantee anything. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm not going to come out here in a week or 2 weeks and have you all say, oh, you said. I didn't say anything. All I'm saying is we are in the throes of a real possibility of making a deal. And I think if I were a betting man, I'd bet for it. But again, I'm not guaranteeing anything. They want to make a deal very badly.
Mr. President, what changes would you like to see in DHS under Mark Wayne Mullen?
Well, he's going to be fantastic. He'll make his own change. He's already given me a list of people he wants to bring. He's a fantastic guy. I think he's just the right guy. You all know him. He's a very open, smart guy, very successful actually in business, which people don't know, and he's a friend of mine. I think Mark Wayne is going to be fantastic. Thank you.
Are these direct talks to Iran?
Terrible. They made a mistake. It's a dangerous business. That's terrible. Thank you, Mr. President.
अमरीकी सदर डोनाल्ड ट्रंप मीडिया से गुफ्तगू कर रहे थे। उनकी जानिब से एक बार फिर ईरान के साथ बातचीत की तस्दीक की गई है। उन्होंने ये कहा कि मैं नहीं चाहता कि मुश्तबा खामनाई आयतुल्ला रहें। उन्होंने कहा कि ईरान अफसूदा यूरेनियम मेरे हवाले कर दे, कभी दोबारा इसे हासिल ना करे। मुझे नहीं मालूम कि ईरानी सुप्रीम लीडर मुश्तबा खामनाई जिंदा हैं या नहीं। मैं नहीं चाहता कि मुश्तबा खामनाई को निशाना बनाया जाए। ईरान डील करना चाहता है। इसराइल से बात हो गई है, वो ताज़ा पेशरफ्त पर खुश है। डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने कहा कि अगर मुआहिदा हुआ तो ये ईरान और खित्ते के लिए बहुत शानदार होगा।
वेलकम बैक। बुलेटिन के आगाज में बड़ी और अहम खबर है कि मशरिक़ वस्ता जंग में बड़ी पेशरफ्त हुई। अमरीका और ईरान में मुस्बत बातचीत। अमरीकी सदर ट्रंप ने तेहरान से अच्छी गुफ्तगू की तस्दीक कर दी है। बिजली घरों पर हमले 5 रोज के लिए मौखर कर दिए। सोशल मीडिया पैगाम में कहा कि महकमा जंग को पावर प्लांट्स को निशाना बनाने से रोक दिया है। अमरीका और ईरान के दरमियान गुज़िश्ता 2 दिनों में अच्छी और तामीरी बातचीत हुई। गुफ्तगू का मकसद मशरिक़ वस्ता में कशीदगी का अमल मुकम्मल खात्मा है। मुज़ाकरात कामयाब हुए तो ईरान के बिजली घरों पर हमले नहीं करेंगे, जबकि इससे पहले ट्रंप ने धमकी दी थी और कहा था कि 48 घंटे में आपने हुर्मुज़ ना खोली तो ईरान के बिजली घर तबाह कर दिए जाएंगे।
सदर ट्रंप की अमरीकी टीवी से टेलीफोनिक गुफ्तगू करते हुए उनकी जानिब से यह कहा गया कि ईरान हमारे साथ डील के लिए बेताब है। मुज़ाकरात 5 दिन में किसी भी वक्त हो सकते हैं। ईरान से मुआहिदा करने के लिए पुरज़्म है। वहां जो हो रहा है उसे रजीम चेंज कहा जा सकता है। रॉयटर्स के मुताबिक वाशिंगटन ने ईरान से अपनी बातचीत के बारे में इसराइल को आगाह कर दिया है। इम्कान है कि सेहूनी रियासत भी पावर स्टेशन पर हमले रोक देगी। अमरीकी सदर के ऐलान के साथ ही आलमी मंडी में खाम तेल की कीमतों में बड़ी कमी आई है। 8% गिर गई। बरतानवी क्रूड 103 और अमरीकी क्रूड $91 पर ट्रेड कर रहा है। अहम खबर है, मशरिक़ वस्ता जंग में ये बड़ी पेशरफ्त सामने आई है। अमरीका और ईरान में मुस्बत बातचीत हुई है। अमरीकी सदर ने ट्रंप से अच्छी गुफ्तगू की तस्दीक कर दी है। जबकि ईरानी वजारत खारजा की अमरीका के साथ बराह रास्त मुज़ाकरात की तरदीद। तर्जुमान ने कहा कि वाशिंगटन के साथ बराह रास्त बातचीत नहीं हो रही। सदर ट्रंप इलाकाई कशीदगी में कमी के लिए वक्त बढ़ा रहे हैं। जवाबी कार्रवाई की धमकी की वजह से वो पीछे हटे हैं। इलाकाई ममालिक ने कशीदगी कम करने के लिए कुछ इकदाम किए हैं।
ट्रंप का बयान तवानाई की कीमतें कम करने के लिए है। आबने हुर्मुज़ की सूरत हाल पहले वाली हालत पर नहीं आएगी। ईरानी वजीर खारजा के रूस और तुर्की के हम मनसब से राबते, आबने हुर्मुज़ और खित्ते की सूरत हाल पर तबादला ख्याल किया गया। अमरीका और ईरान के दरमियान कशीदगी में कमी लाने के लिए पाकिस्तान का अहम किरदार। रॉयटर्स के दावे के मुताबिक पाकिस्तान ने अमरीका और ईरान के दरमियान सालिसी की कोशिश की। तुर्की और मिस्र का भी कशीदगी में कमी लाने में अहम किरदार है। तीनों मुमालिक ने स्टीव विटकॉफ और अब्बास अरागची से मुलाकात की है। ये मुलाकातें अलग अलग हुई हैं, अलग अलग मुज़ाकरात हुए हैं। बातचीत का मकसद मौजूदा कशीदगी में कमी लाना था। गुफ्तगू में जैरेड किशनर, स्टीव विटकॉफ समेत दीगर शरका शामिल थे।
अमरीका और ईरान के दरमियान कशीदगी में कमी लाने के लिए पाकिस्तान का अहम किरदार। रॉयटर्स के दावे के मुताबिक पाकिस्तान ने अमरीका और ईरान के दरमियान सालिसी की कोशिश की। तुर्की और मिस्र का भी कशीदगी में कमी लाने में अहम किरदार है। जबकि तीनों ममालिक ने स्टीव विटकॉफ और अब्बास अरागची से अलग अलग मुज़ाकरात किए। बातचीत का मकसद मौजूदा कशीदगी में कमी लाना था। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म शहबाज शरीफ ने ईरानी सदर मसूद पेज़ेश्कियान से टेलीफोनिक राबता किया। खित्ते में अमन के लिए तामीरी किरदार जारी रखने के अज़्म का इजहार किया। उम्मत मुस्लिमा का इत्तेहाद वक्त की अहम ज़रूरत करार दिया। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म शहबाज शरीफ ने खित्ते में बढ़ती कशीदगी कम करने के लिए मुज़ाकरात पर जोर देते हुए कहा कि पाकिस्तान खित्ते में अमन व इस्तेहकाम के लिए अपना तामीरी किरदार जारी रखेगा।
ईरानी सदर की जानिब से पाकिस्तानी अवाम के लिए नए ख्वाहिशात का इजहार किया गया। नायब वज़ीर आज़म वज़ीर खारजा इसहाक डार का इराकी हम मनसब डॉक्टर फवाद मोहम्मद हुसैन से टेलीफोनिक राबता। दोनों रहनुमाओं के दरमियान खित्ते की तेजी से बदलती हुई सूरत हाल पर तबादला ख्याल किया गया। खित्ते में अमन इस्तेहकाम, कशीदगी में कमी के लिए मुसलसल कोशिशों पर जोर दिया गया। दोनों रहनुमाओं ने खित्ते की सूरत हाल के तनाजुर में करीबी राबते में रहने पर इत्तफाक किया है।
ईरान पर अमरीकी और इसराइली तैयारों की शदीद बमबारी। तेहरान के मुख्तलिफ मकामात पर हमले। सूबा लरिस्तान में 6 शहरी शहीद और 43 जख्मी हो गए। तब्रेज़ में भी 6 अफराद जाम शहादत नोश कर गए। बुशहर पर हमले में महकमा मौसमियात का सरबराह जान से गया। बंदर अब्बास में रेडियो स्टेशन पर बमबारी से एक शख्स जबकि खुरमाबाद में बच्चा दम तोड़ गया। मुतादिद अफराद जख्मी भी हुए। केरार शहर में भी हमले किए गए। आवाज में अस्पताल को निशाना बनाया गया। ईरान में शहादतों की मजमूई तादाद 1550 हो गई है। अमरीकी सेंटकॉम ने कोम में ड्रोन फैक्ट्री को निशाना बनाने का दावा किया है। ईरानी वजारत तवानाई ने वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट पर साइबर हमले की तरदीद कर दी है।
पासदारान इनकलाब का दुश्मन को मुंह तोड़ जवाब। इसराइल पर मिसाइल्स की 74वीं लहर दाग दी। सेहूनी रियासत में एक बार फिर सायरन बज उठे। आयरन डोम नाकाम हो गया। मुतादिद मिसाइल शहरी इलाकों में गिरे। घरों को नुकसान, गाड़ियों में आग भड़क उठी। अस्पतालों में इमरजेंसी नाफिज कर दी गई। गुज़िश्ता रोज हमलों में 10 इसराइली हलाक और 180 जख्मी हुए हैं। कुवैत में अमरीकी जंगी तैयारा गिरकर तबाह हुआ। अरब मीडिया ये रिपोर्ट करता है कि जहाज गिरने की वजूहात ताहाल सामने नहीं आ सकी। पासदारान इनकलाब ने कहा कि बिजली तंसीबात पर हमला हुआ तो जवाबी कार्रवाई की जाएगी। खलीजी मुमालिक में वाटर प्लांट्स को तबाह करने का कोई इरादा नहीं। इसराइल में डिमोना पर हमला नतन्स एटमी मरकज पर हमले का जवाब था। ईरानी दिफाई काउंसिल ने कहा कि जजीरों पर हमला हुआ तो तमाम समुद्री रास्तों पर बारूदी सुरंगें बिछा दी जाएंगी।
सऊदी अरब ने प्रिंस सुल्तान एयरबेस को निशाना बनाया। ईरानी खातिमुल अंबिया सेंट्रल हेडक्वार्टर्स के तर्जुमान का बयान। कहा, प्रिंस सुल्तान एयरबेस अमरीकी फौजी सरगर्मियों का अहम मरकज है। बहरीन में भी अमरीकी 5th फ्लीट पर मिसाइल्स और ड्रोन से हमला किया है। दूसरी जानिब सऊदी अरब ने एक बार फिर ड्रोन हमले नाकाम बना दिए। वजारत दिफा ने कहा कि दारुल हुकूमत रियाज और मशरकी इलाके में 2 ड्रोन मार गिराए गए। इमाराती वजारत दिफा के तर्जुमान ने कहा कि आज 7 बैलिस्टिक और 16 ड्रोन को रोका गया। हमलों के दौरान किसी किस्म का जानी नुकसान नहीं हुआ।
अमरीकी सेनेटर्स की ईरान जंग शुरू करने पर सदर पर तनकीद। टिम केन ने कहा कि ट्रंप हमारे बच्चों को जंग में भेज रहे हैं। सदर इंतखाबात में अपनी शिकस्त को तस्लीम नहीं कर पा रहे। मशरिक़ वस्ता में जारी जंग फौरी खत्म करने का मुतालबा किया। डेमोक्रेट सेनेटर चक शूमर ने कहा, अब बहुत हो चुका, इस लड़ाई को खत्म किया जाए। जंग में इंसानी जानें खतरे में हैं। अरबों डॉलर्स जाया हो रहे हैं। अमेरिका में पेट्रोल की कीमत $4 फी गैलन के करीब पहुंच चुकी है। रिपब्लिकन सेनेटर्स भी ला इल्म है कि हुकूमत मशरिक़ वस्ता में क्या हासिल करना चाहती है।
आगे बढ़ते हुए आपको अपडेट करें। मुल्क में सोना रिकॉर्ड सस्ता हुआ है। फी तोला कीमत में 43,600 रुपए की बड़ी कमी हुई है, जिसके बाद निर्ख 4,47,762 रुपए पर आ गए हैं। सोने की कीमत में एक दिन में होने वाली ये सबसे बड़ी कमी है। आलमी मार्केट में फी ऑन्स एक दिन में $436 रिकॉर्ड नीचे आ गया। रवा माह में अब तक फी तोला सोना 1,16,000 रुपए सस्ता हो चुका है।